Sort of. You'll get it.
Yeah.
Thank
Oh.
you.
Live.
Like
Anybody see Jerry out there? Or no? We got a minute to go.
he has 1 minute till he'll be here.
Yeah.
Oh, Jerry working outside. Pulled in.
It's 7. You guys ready?
I saw Jerry pulling in outside.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That has no bearing to it.
Do we hang on a minute?
He had to block in a fire truck.
Was he over that way?
He was outside the front door.
Blocking the fire truck.
He had to block in a fire truck.
Guess they're staying for the whole
It's
meeting.
better than not having it stolen like that. Went over in wherever it was, door or something.
Yeah, somebody stole a fire truck.
Yes. Yeah, the rest doesn't lead to any. It has nothing to do with the objectivity of the report.
You did see him, right? You did see him, Bill.
Huh?
You did see him
I
out there.
thought I saw his car.
It's white on, there he is.
There he is right there.
Hey, that.
I did see his car. You were driving a silver car.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was trying to find parking.
I know. All these firefighters filled it up.
And I cannot, walk too fast.
Yeah.
We would have started even when I was back in the parking lot.
Okay. We're live.
Someone calls roll call.
Every meeting is this all the time.
Yep. 7:01.
Nobody sits in the front, man. Everybody's scared.
Yeah.
Yeah. We took the 2 front pews out and they just moved back. Seriously, we did.
All right, you guys ready? Good evening. I'd like to call the Ferrysburg City Council meeting to order. Monday, December 19th, 2022, 7 p.m., Ferrysburg City Hall. Roll call, please.
Mayor Blease.
Here.
Councilmember O'Donnell.
Here.
Councilmember Carlson.
Here.
Councilmember Montgomery.
Here.
Councilmember Sias.
Here.
Councilmember Murdoch.
Here.
Councilmember Kate.
Here.
Please rise for the invocation by Councilmember Kate, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance.
Before I do this, Your Honor, just an observation. Anybody who knows me knows I'm a pastor. And the front row of pews is never filled. We move it back, and they move back too. Let me tell you about an invention I have. It's called a pewscalator. When the front row is empty, we move them forward. Boom, boom, boom. All right, let's pray. Gracious God, we thank you for the blessings of the year now past, and we ask for your guidance in the year now that stretches out before us, even as we ask your guidance on this meeting ahead of us tonight. In your name we ask it. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Number 5, public comments. This time on the agenda for any citizen direct brief comments or questions of the City Council. Time for public comments will be given when an agenda item is discussed. If you have a comment or question, please raise your hand to be recognized by the mayor, and after being recognized by the mayor, please give your name and address for the record and proceed with your comment or question. Please limit your comments to 3 minutes. No public comment. Yes, Rebecca.
Good evening. Rebecca Happ, former mayor, City of Ferrysburg, P.O. Box 85, Ferrysburg 49409. I want to share with council tonight exciting news that occurred during the Ottawa County Commissioners meeting on December 14, 2022. Ottawa County Commissioners appointed me with a vote of 11-0 to serve as the Ottawa County representative to the West Michigan Regional Planning Commission also known as Region 8. The state of Michigan is divided into 14 regions. Region 8 services Allegan, Berry, Ionia, Kent, Mecosta, Montcalm, Osceola, and Ottawa counties. The primary focus for WMRPC includes transportation planning, economic and community development, land use planning, data collection and analysis, and it's also available to assist communities with their planning and community development requirement plans, preparations, and identify funding opportunities. I look forward to sharing more information with you at a later date. Happy holidays.
Thank you. Any more public comments? Yes.
Rebecca, what's the term of that? 1 year? Okay, that's all. Thank you.
Number 6, consideration for approval consent agenda. 6A, approve the December 5th, 2022 City Council meeting minutes as printed. B, approve the mayor's appointment of Tim Scarpino to the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority Board for a term ending January 1st, 2026. C, approve the mayor's appointment of Jim Menerick to the Brownfield Development Authority Board for a term ending January 1st, 2026. D, adopt the 2023 prioritized city council goals. E, approve a gas easement to Michigan Gas Utilities Corporation at William Ferry Park and to authorize the mayor and city clerk to sign all necessary documents.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I would move that we move item B and C to under new business. B would be item F, and C would be item G.
Okay, and the reason why?
Council wants to vote on each person individually, so they're not in a group.
I'll support that, Your Honor.
Okay. Motion support, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Okay.
Your Honor,
Yes.
at this time, I'd make a motion that we accept the approval of the consent agenda as amended.
Motion support, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, number 7, new business. Discussion, take action if appropriate to adopt a resolution recognizing Loretta McLaughlin on her retirement from Pine Street Cafe. Loretta, you want to come up to the podium? I will do the first presentation, followed by Roger Victory, then Roger Bergman.
Hi, Loretta.
Okay, here's the proclamation. Pine Street Cafe. Whereas Loretta McLaughlin, for 31 years, owned and operated Pine Street Cafe at 401 Pine Street in the city of Ferrysburg. And whereas Loretta has supported and donated to community events on numerous occasions, and whereas Loretta was a dedicated owner and could be found most days working at the restaurant, and whereas Loretta is retiring from Pine Street Cafe and will be missed by her many friends and customers. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the City of Ferrysburg City Council congratulates Loretta on her successful 31 years of owning and operating Pine Street Cafe, and be it further resolved that I, Mayor Scott Blease, and the City of Ferrysburg City Council wishes Loretta a long, happy fulfillment retirement. December 19th, 2022. Roger Victory, you want to come up, Senator?
Oh, there we go. Oh, good stuff. Now you got quite the family here with you. How many generations? You got 2 generations, 3 generations, or 3? 4 generations. I saw a little one here. Is that number, that 4th generation there? Well, what a legacy. Well, there we go. That's excellent. Well, this is, we did district hours there many different times, and always like starting with those eggs and toast and a cup of coffee, and had some good dialogue with all the folks from the area. And this is something that you had a special place for that. But I remember one time
certain congressmen showed up, and we had more people standing around than we had seats in the cafe. So it was, and never know when the sheriff might show up too. But that was just a great venue offered here in the community for someone like myself to meet and greet the folks, and also overheard a lot of good conversations. That's the vibrant small hometown community. Issues can be discussed openly. Talk about bipartisan. That's what. So with that, there we know we have the state tribute sign acknowledging dedication. 55, more than 50. There's this 50 plus. You got your. Loretta's not going to let me go off with just ambiguity. 55 years. Now, the wagon wheels. Was that around here? Okay. Where was the wagon wheel? There's a wagon wheel out by. Okay. But Keegan Heights. The reason I bring that when I drive by the wagon wheel up and back to land. That was a little. And highlight your work as somebody that's employing others. Better place. Opening up the place. You're going to be there regardless. So it's just a great honor to be signed by myself, the governor there. Yes, crown, let's get it. Love that. Have Matt, can you? You got this stuff.
One more is coming up. Mr. Bergman.
So I've never met Loretta, but I've been in your breakfast. Right. So on Saturday mornings, I've been to Bible study. We meet, and first time I went, the guy said, "Go there, can't buy just." Always wonder. I wonder. You know, we. So I'll read this. Whereas Loretta Coughlin, developer, operator. And 3 generations of work, living in a cozy, friendly atmosphere. And you've decided after. Now therefore be it I have a few minutes.
You have
Soft voice. I was also operating a restaurant. What brought me here? Bedroom, community, family, home. Quite well with the other. Came here and the waters and talked with around here. All I could do. Grow, which it has. Needs to grow some more. Now, my legacy. Art, drive, or hope that given me. Those are my rewards. 55 years is a long time. How I got to 55, I don't know. Now I'm 81, and now I do know. I'm tired. So it's his turn, and just thank you for everything. And this time, last time I received back, I told him every year I'm going to retire. That year went by. Next year, finally, I just said, "Oh, you know, you're here sharing that one too." Thank you.
Thank you, Loretta.
Oh, she says I don't have to stay for the rest of it.
You're welcome.
Good night.
Okay. Would someone like to make a motion support for A?
I'll make the motion.
Make
to
it official?
Support.
Okay, motion support. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Motion carried. Okay, now 7B. Discussion, take action if appropriate, adopt a resolution. David F. Peterson, recognizing David F. Peterson for his 30 years of service on the Ferrysburg Fire Department.
Make a motion.
Motion.
Support.
Motion support. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. Tim, you want to do the presentation? Yes. Okay. David, you want to come up to the mic?
And Sandy.
And Sandy.
Just a preface to say, 15 years ago, I saw an ad in the newsletter for the city of Ferrysburg for a firefighter. Applied, got hired, and got to meet a great bunch of guys, including right here. Been friend and mentor, and got put this proclamation together. Got Sandy up here because the wives are a very integral, important part of this. So this is for Sandy as well as. Whereas David F. Peterson joined the Ferrysburg Fire Department in November 1991, and David became certified as a firefighter 1, medical first responder, hazmat operations, apparatus pump operator, and advanced vehicle extrication. And whereas David participated in part of the Dewey Hill Task Force, drove the fire engine in parades and rides for the public during the fire prevention, open houses, and delivered Santa to community carol sing. And whereas David helped maintain the fire apparatus, and whereas even though David was ill at the time of the Johnston boiler fire, he managed his post as pump operator on fire engine 721. And whereas we recognize the support of his wife, Sandy. On behalf of the mayor, now therefore, I'm Mayor Scott Police, in honor and gratitude for 30 years of service, unwavering dedication, selfless service to the residents of Ferrysburg, we as the Ferrysburg City Council, on behalf of and for the residents, do hereby proclaim that December 19th, 2022, be known as David F. Peterson Day. It's also his birthday.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. 7C, discussion, take action if appropriate to accept a visionary plan as a guide for recommendations to the city may take in the future. Greg?
Your Honor, Board Chairman John Rifle would like to speak on this.
Okay. John?
Thank you. Good evening. It's a pleasure to meet you and talk to you about this plan. A couple of thoughts. As I think about what we did, I think it's very appropriate that a community like Ferrysburg periodically appoint a economic development task force, kind of sit back and look at the dynamics of the city, see where we are, where we're headed, and just kind of interact with the community, see if there are things that we could do better, or see what the community would like to be done, to have us done, and then in response to that, make recommendations to you. And of course, it's your final decision about what to do. I would say that the 7 members who were on this task force, I commend you for making a great selection because they were really dedicated people. And Roger Jonas, who's the vice chair of the group, he was actually the chair of the first economic development task force that worked back in 2005. So it was great to have Roger joining me and the other members on there. I think looking at your agenda, I assume you maybe want the 5-minute overview rather than the detailed stuff, right? It's a long report. There's a lot of information in there. But let me just say that really there's good news. Here's some ideas or concepts of good news that what we've learned. First of all, in my opinion, the best indication of how a community is doing is the population growing in the community. Are people being attracted to the community and finding it a good place to live? And the answer is yes. Our population is growing. We grew about a little over 6.5% between 2010 and 2020. That's a tad below what happened in the village of Spring Lake, but it's a bit more than what happened in Grand Haven. Of course, the townships grew faster than 3 cities. But people are finding it an attractive place to live. So that's good news. second good point is that in the course of doing our work, we had the opportunity to interact with the business community. And thanks to my colleague who's here tonight, Elizabeth Butler from the Chamber, she was incredibly helpful in getting us interacting with the business community. But what we learned in our interaction with the business community is that for the most part, the business folks they had some suggestions, some things to do, and they're embodied in the recommendations, but they didn't come up with any startling issues that were dramatic and felt that they needed immediate addressing. So they were reasonably satisfied with how things are going. And then a third point I would make about good news is something that you already know, but that is the state has approved the funding for the Smith Bayou replacement bridge, the update on that bridge. Had that not already been in the bag, that would have been a big economic problem for the city. But it's yet to happen, but the funding is going to come. So that's really good news. Now, I don't know if you want me to talk further about what's in the plan. I assume you've had a chance to look at it, and I can talk more about it. Also, I would be happy to have a work session to consider what's in here and go over it. I'd be happy to come to your work session and go through step by step with the things that are in here. I can talk some more about what we've done. But really, a lot of work went into this plan, these recommendations, and I defer to you in terms of how we want to proceed here. You tell me. I can talk more, or you can say we'll address it in a work session, or yes.
Why you included the bridge in your report, because the bridge is not part of the economic development. It's separate. And there was a group, not an individual, that worked hard to save our bridge. Many people. So I just don't understand why it's included in this. Can you answer that?
Well, I guess the simple answer is if we didn't have the funding lined up at this point to do the bridge, that would be an economic problem for the city. And it's good news that that has been lined up. And indeed, a number of people were involved in doing that, and we're indebted to them for what they've done. We do have recommendation number 1 of the 16 recommendations there. It's the one recommendation that has some urgency, and that is the state may already be starting to do some engineering work on what they're going to put in there. And if the council wants to do more than just have a bridge, if they want a bike path, if they want a wider sidewalk, if they want a fishing platform, you folks are going to have to decide whether you want to try to make that happen. And if you do want to do that, you'll have to think about funding for it, and also engage the state right away to let them know that we want to do a little bit more than just have a bridge there. So that's the one item of the 16 that has some urgency.
Yes.
Have some money.
Money going, right?
City Council's been putting some money away every year for that.
That's awesome. And the question is there enough to do what you hope to do? I think Craig had shared with us that he thinks maybe MDOT has some flexibility in what they can do with the bridge, but I don't know. I've never worked with them, so.
So they're going to begin design early next year. So we're working with MDOT to advise them what we would like to see happen with that bridge, which includes a bike path on the south side and a fisherman's platform on the north.
So you've already informed them that you'd like to have that in there?
Yes.
Excellent then. That's good. And they're going to pay for that, or?
It has to be determined. You know, we think we can do some of that stuff by design with the funds that are available for that bridge.
That would be awesome. Wonderful. That's good news. So you've already moved on that. So what else can I share with you, or do you want me to go into more details here?
Yes.
I think we need to schedule a work session and discuss some of these recommendations, and, like John said, there are some that are more urgent than others. So he could help us, pinpoint those and work through those,
Be happy to
and
do
move
that.
from there. So, and there's some other things I think, council wants to discuss as far as, some, recommendations and how, things are placed in this report. So, I think it'd be wise to schedule a work session on this.
Yep, we can do that. Any other questions for John?
John, you'd be willing to come back?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
yes,
I know you
yes.
said, but I'm just checking.
Yes, I live for Ferrysburg.
Mm.
My pay isn't very high, but I work at it.
Don't worry, ours isn't either, so.
Your Honor.
Yes.
John, are you taking off for Florida?
No, my wife would like for us to, but no, we haven't at this point.
I know you're for Ferrysburg.
Okay.
Your Honor? Your Honor, I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the visionary plan as a guide for recommendations to the city may take in the future.
Support.
Motion and support. Tim, do you want to add that we will discuss it further in a work session?
Yeah, I'm not prepared to, accept this report right now as written. I think we need a work session.
That's not,
I vote no on Tim, yes.
Okay. Tim made a motion to accept it. Did anybody support?
Under the assumption there'd be a work session, so maybe I supported it incorrectly. Okay. All right.
all we're doing is accepting the visionary statement right now. We can schedule this for a work session. It does state, for, action we can take in the future, so.
So you are asking to accept this as written tonight? That's what you just stated, correct?
Yes.
In your motion?
Yes.
Okay, that's all.
It did pass unanimously.
What?
By the committee when.
Well, I know, but then it's up
So.
to the council to accept or, take the recommendations in whichever direction they want to
Right.
pursue. So, yeah, I agree. You're right. The council did vote unanimously. But I still think we need a work session, so I disagree with your motion, Tim.
All right, solid support.
Okay, Tim made a motion. Bill, you're not
Roll
gonna,
call on that one?
I
well,
supported
if-
Tim's motion on the understanding that we were gonna do a work session, but if we're not going to,
we can, we can
so
add it
Tim's
as a work
fails.
session,
Okay.
but it doesn't
Alright.
have to be on a
all right,
action item.
okay, I'll leave it as stands.
For support?
Support.
Okay. Motion support, further discussion. So this is
Your
just,
Honor,
yes.
go ahead.
So this is just to accept it as a guide for recommendations. So if the council does not want to do that, we'll take a roll call vote, see if it passes or not.
Your Honor, it makes no sense to me to accept a visionary statement if we know we're gonna be moving into a, work session where it may be determined that we don't support the thing at all.
Right, correct.
So I would certainly be voting a no in terms of accepting the visionary statement at this time,
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah,
knowing that we're gonna go into work session.
and that's fine. There's a motion support, so let's do a roll call vote on that first. Roll call
Councilmember
vote.
Kate,
Despite my support, no.
Councilmember Murdoch,
No.
Councilmember Sias,
No?
Councilmember Montgomery,
No.
Councilmember Carlson,
No,
Councilmember O'Donnell,
Yes.
and Mayor Blease.
Yes. Motion failed, 5-2.
One last thought, Mr. Mayor.
Yes.
My colleague Elizabeth Butler from the chamber, who's here with us tonight, has also volunteered to come to the work session whenever you're scheduled.
Okay,
Both be there. Roger Jonas would probably come too.
sure.
He was planning on being here tonight, but he, for reason couldn't make it.
Okay,
So we're at your disposal.
appreciate the help, John.
Thanks, John.
Okay, thanks a lot. Okay, moving on. D, discussion, take action if appropriate to approve a quote from Advanced Signs, Inc. for 3 wayfinding signs for the Ferrysburg Nature Preserve for $4,711.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move in support of this resolution.
Support.
Motion support, further discussion?
Your Honor, I've lived here for a little over 3 years. And right after we got here, we started hearing about this thing called the Ferrysburg Nature Preserve. But you think we could find it? I'm all in favor of signage.
Yeah, so this was a goal of the rec commission over the past several months. We've had several residents reach out asking how to find it and if we could better put some signage up. You will notice, if you look closely at the signs, there is a spelling error. But Craig assures us that that will be corrected.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I was gonna point out. With the magnifying glass.
Yeah.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, E, discussion, take action if appropriate to cancel the Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023 City Council meeting. Craig, nothing on the agenda for next
I have nothing
meeting.
at this time.
We,
Support.
motion support, further discussion?
Your Honor,
Yes.
when are we gonna get ethics back on the agenda? Gonna be a later second meeting next month? Okay. Just
January,
curious.
yep.
Okay, great.
Well-
No, the second meeting in January, right?
January 16th?
Yeah, January
Well,
16th.
well, depends on the agenda. We'll try to get it on the 16th. If not, it'll be the first one in February.
Okay. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, let's go to F. And F was the old B. Approve the mayor's appointment of Tim Scarpino to the Brownfield Development Authority Board for a term ending January 1st, 2026.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I move that we appoint Tim Scarpino to the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority Board for a term ending January 1st, 2026.
Support.
Motion support, further discussion? Tim back there, you good with that? Now's the time to talk. Okay. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, G. And that's gonna be approved mayor's appointment of Jim Menerick to the Brownfield Development Authority Board for a term ending January 1st, 2026.
Your Honor, I move to approve the mayor's appointment of Jim Menerick to the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority Board for a term ending January 1st, 2026.
Support.
Motion support, further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. Okay, so now we're gonna go to H. Work session, North Shore Drive, speed calming measures.
Your Honor, and we've been discussing, trying to do something to slow the speed down there on North Shore Drive, North Shore Road, North Shore Estates for a period of time. And we're just not coming up with anything that staff can put together. We've got some ideas that we would like to probably put together or look at further. In the packet was some information on speed humps or speed tables or speed cushions. Staff thinks so those are probably the 3 top things that we want to look at to try to calm the traffic down out there. We just don't have the expertise to, to placement and so forth on putting these kind of items on our street. We would like to work with a traffic engineer. I'm not sure we need to do a traffic study. The goal is just to try to calm the speed down out there. I don't think we need a study to show us that they're speeding out there. We know they're speeding out there. So if we just get something to help us to placement on some of these items in your packet, I think that is probably the best route to go at this time.
Yeah, and it looks like, Craig, we can't put a stop sign in because of all these various reasons. So looks like that's not an option like maybe we thought it would be. That correct?
That's correct. And we looked at crosswalks. We could put a crosswalk in. Staff's not sure if that's really going to slow the traffic down out there. You know, we have crosswalks in other areas of the city, and it doesn't seem to slow our vehicles down when they approach them. So I think we need to do something, some kind of item on the street that's really going to affect the vehicle's speed out there.
Yeah, I mean, I see the example of raised crosswalks, but if somebody's speeding up to the crosswalk, that might be a little more dangerous than a regular crosswalk. I'm not sure. So do we have a traffic engineer then that we can hire or contract with?
Well, in the past, city has worked with Pete Lamori, and he's given us a couple proposals, but all those proposals include doing a traffic study out there. I'd like to have a conversation with him and ask him to help us put the placement of certain these items out there on the streets without doing a traffic study.
Yeah, okay.
Your Honor?
Yes.
May sound a little radical, Craig, but in the military, when we want to put up a roadblock or slow down traffic, we put concrete barriers on one side of the road and then another one like 20, 30 feet on the other side of the road. So you only have one-way traffic, and they got to weave around these concrete barriers. I mean, if we got to get drastic, I mean, you know, it's something to think about, because I know people are really upset up down there.
Mm-hmm.
I spent an afternoon in Ben's kitchen, his dining room window, watching traffic go by with him, and it angered me to watch some of the cars go down there. I mean, they're doing 50, 60 miles an hour, no joke. And his grandson was trying to cross the street, and it's like cars didn't even slow down, almost like they sped up because they're aggravated. They wanted to beat the pedestrian, you know, they didn't want to stop for a pedestrian. So, I mean, something definitely needs to be done down there. And yeah, you know, we've been through the speed bumps and the you know, and the humps and the stop signs, and you know, I don't know, maybe we can put concrete barriers in there for, you know, a certain amount of time, just to give people the message, like, slow down, or this is what you're gonna deal with, you know. Maybe it could be a temporary thing. I don't know. So, something to think about. So
Your Honor,
Yes.
I was in Grand Rapids last weekend, and there's several neighborhoods around Grand Rapids that have chokers, as described in the information that we were given, and only one car can go through at a time. And so it's it really slows traffic down. There's a number of railroad bridges around Grand Rapids area as well that are just one-wayers, and it makes a huge difference. And it's something that might not even have to be permanently installed.
those concrete barriers that the construction crews use, you know, in the highways. Something to think about.
Yes.
My concern with putting like concrete barriers, narrowing the lanes out there is it's already narrow. And we really don't have room to expand, and I'm fearful that that could force bicyclists or people walking along the road to have to walk into the road to get around. I mean, walking fine, but if you're riding a bike out there, really isn't room to put barriers. I don't think. But I do like the roundabout. That might be something we could consider for Parkwood and North Shore, right down there by the Buckeye Terminal. That's a very busy intersection, and it's going to get even busier with Ottawa Sands. So maybe that's something to consider for that as well. That's my concerns.
Any other thoughts, Bill or Will? Debbie?
Your Honor, I think we should look at,
Your Honor, uh, it all sounds like great ideas. I'm not a traffic engineer by any means. Won't pretend to be, but I would support Craig talking to a traffic engineer and getting a recommendation on what they feel we should do. So.
Yeah, for sure. I think we need to, look at that. But
Do we want to look at speed calming devices on North Shore stays as well? Well, there's probably more than that. I think in a special assessment, there's probably about 25 homes, so there's probably 30.
In the grand scheme of things, I don't think it hurts to include that in our recommendation. If we choose to not, go through it, that's fine. But
yeah,
I think it makes sense to include it in the scope.
Yeah, we had citizens from North Shore Estates Road that they had concerns about speeding too, and the crosswalk to go to the North Ottawa Dunes across from the beach area. Yeah, but as again we talked to, is that's not the only area in the city that has traffic speed issues. It's all over. Ridge, Hazel, Pine, 3rd Street. Yeah, it's really all over. So, any other input?
Is, and despite my reluctance to do anything right now, North Shore Drive is the longest uninterrupted stretch of road in the city. And people treat it as such. It becomes a drag strip. I know that. How do we control that? I don't know. We have to do something. They say we can't use yield signs or stop signs to slow traffic down. I'm kind of with you, Deb. I've seen speed humps work quite well. Granted, it's in places where plowing is not an issue. Speed humps versus speed bumps are a little easier for plows to deal with, so I'd be in favor of something like that.
Yeah. Craig, have we heard anything from City Grand Haven for North Shore Drive on the city side for them?
No, I've had
Not
discussions.
really.
Nothing.
Yes.
Craig, who would we talk to at the city? Would it be the police chief? Is that would be city police chief? Is that would be the contact to?
I've talked to the public works supervisor down there.
Okay.
But I'll make that contact again before.
Yeah, because or maybe I'll just stop in and visit and see if I can get any information as well. Because this has been going on a long time, and a large part of the problem is Grand Haven. I mean, people are speeding all the way down that road, and if we got some support from Grand Haven as well with enforcement on that road, I think it would help. And it seems to me like it's lacking from Grand Haven, so maybe I'll just go there and make a complaint myself. So.
Okay. Anything else, you guys? Okay, let's move on. It's going to be, let's see, FGI. Work session, classification, and compensation study. Craig?
So earlier this year, we did a wage study with MML, Michigan Municipal League. They provided a report. The City Council looked at it at a work session back in October and asked staff to come up with maybe looking at the wage, doing something on the 1st of January. We talked to staff, the department heads. And typically when we do a raise in the city, it's effective July 1st. And that's usually based on the CPI that comes out in November. The CPI that came out in November this year is going to be 7.9%. Some of these other communities did a little larger wage increase for 22-23 effective July 1, 2022. The city came in with a 4% increase. Staff would be willing to keep the wages right now at the same and work to budget for an increase of the CPI for 23-24 of 8%.
Your Honor,
Yes.
I'm going to recuse myself from this because I am a city employee and I have potential for be discussing wages.
Okay. So Craig, you're thinking for the 2023-2024 budget, that would start like July of 2023?
That's correct.
Okay. And it looks like life insurance, and that won't add a lot of cost to the city. That'll start July 1st, 2023. And let's see, what else is in here? Holidays, personal days, no changes proposed. Okay. Any further discussion on this?
That's correct. I'm not sure what other communities are going to do July 1st. You know, if we sit there and go for 8%, and some other communities are doing surrounding communities are doing 10%. I'm not sure how it's going to pan out, but we can look at that, and you know, if we're kind of leaning towards 8% for sure next year, July 1st, we can work on that in the budget and keep an eye on what's going on with wages in the communities.
Okay. Any other input?
Your Honor?
Yes.
Well, I didn't, and maybe I just missed it in the report. Did we talk about fire department pay?
Fire department would be included in the wage increase effective July 1st of 2023.
And are we close on that with surrounding communities that have volunteer fire departments?
We'll look into that. That wasn't included in the study, no.
Okay, that's what I thought.
But the firefighters have been getting the same percentage increase as employees over the past few years.
I just want to make sure we're competitive. So.
Yep. We're working to make sure we keep the firefighters we do have here. And that's, you know, we've used to be that the firefighters were on July 4th was all volunteer, and now we pay them. And go to Carol saying it used to be volunteer, now we pay them. So we're trying to make it right with them too.
Your Honor.
Yes.
Craig, could you make me feel a little bit more comfortable about how this is going to affect our budget?
We're going to have to look at it. Taxable value is going to go up at least 5% for next year. Yeah. So there'll be some growth there.
And that's limited at 5%.
That's correct.
Because of Headley.
That's correct. It's going to take a hit to the budget, but you know, we have employees here that see what's going on in other communities, and we don't want to lose them to working somewhere else.
Yes.
So Craig, you've got here with us increasing all employees up to $50,000 life insurance, you're giving us the annual increase. What are we looking at for the increase after July 2023? Estimate. I mean, how much more are we talking?
In wages?
Yeah.
Probably 35,000.
Yes.
Craig, how are the employees' time off, like vacation benefits, and how do we compare on with other cities as far as that goes? Sick days, vacation, are we?
So the study indicated that the city accrues more vacation than neighboring communities that were included in the study. In other words, at 15 years, an employee gets more vacation than a day or so more than market. And for personal days, we're 1 day below market. So right now, the employees get 3 personal days. The market is 4.
Pretty close to other communities. We are lagging on pay, of course. But as far as benefits go and everything, it's like we're pretty close to all the other surrounding communities. Yeah. So do we need a motion for this, or this is just a discussion? So yeah, so okay, all right.
It will bring us closer to what they are now. I'm not sure what everybody's gonna get next year, though. But that's the concern. We do 8%, and so they're already ahead of us now. And then the market, it goes up another 5%, so then we're still below the market. So where exactly? Yeah, we gotta look at the budget. We gotta keep an eye on that. Yes.
Okay, anything else? You got enough info, Craig?
Thank you.
All right, number 8, public comments. Yes, Regina.
Regina Schoberg, 17542 Parkwood Drive. First of all, I'd like to say I don't think that any visionary report should be used as a political platform. This is not one person's work. It's everyone's work, and that shouldn't be in there commending one person. If anyone saved the bridge, it was the Save the Smiths Bridge Group, which impacted our community. So I would ask that you take that out, that section. That has, this isn't a political pay-on to Rebecca Hopp. This is a objective report. I'd also like to have you continue your work on getting an ethics ordinance passed. There's some really bad shenanigans going on around here. And now on something a little happier. I probably should have introduced myself as Regina Schoberg, former council member, because when I was appointed to council by Jeff Still, one of the ideas I brought to council was the dog park. We ended up making that a city goal, and we have a really nice dog park. We got the Coast Guard guys to come in, and young women, to come in and clear the brush on the side of the bunker, paint the walls, prep the walls. They all got commended for that. We also got schools, Walden Green and West Michigan Academy of Arts and Academics. At one point, I had been president of that board, and we got these kids to come in and do the murals. Well, we don't have a dog anymore, but we took our grand dog there the other day, and the inside bunker wall is in bad shape. And I would like to see you maybe try to engage with the Coast Guard to get them to come out and prep that wall and paint it. We've had Boy Scouts involved in projects there. It's been a real community effort. People really like it. I would be happy to help coordinate that. I coordinated a big bark-in when we had the opening of the dog park. We had all kinds of vendors, and Melissa Brolick owned Old Boys then. She brought dog biscuits for everyone. No beer, but dog biscuits. And I'd just like to see that spiffed up. I've also had people ask me if you can get a light shining on there somehow, because this time of year when it's dark at 5 o'clock, you know, people would like to take their dogs there. And it is a real community resource for both children, people, adults, and dogs, because I've been over there many a time when some young mother with babies would be saying, what do I do about this or that? And other mothers would chip in and help. So it's a real community resource. So I'd ask that you invest a little time and effort, and I'd be willing to help with that. Thank you.
Thank you. In the back, come on up.
Coffee, 17775 Cherokee Drive. I really didn't intend to come down here and speak about anything, but on North Shore Drive, and basically I'm down here because I was bored. Anyway, I used to live on North Shore Drive, and at one time, in fact, I think there's been 2 studies formed back when I lived there. But anyway, one of them was a state police study, which actually resulted in the speed limit being raised. 174th and the Buckeye Terminal. Maybe it went a little bit further than that. But anyway, it went from about 30 to 35 because that was the median speed the state police determined it was everybody was going. Now, I don't know where your planning or your problem is with speeding, but the city of Ferrysburg pays the county to enforce the speed limit laws. Most of the people probably out there on that road that speed live out there. Jump on them. They're doing 26, fine them. Slow them down a little bit. You don't have to put Jersey barriers up. There's a couple pictures up on the wall there of people who were involved in a Jersey barrier thing several years ago that no longer have anything to do with the council down here. They were recalled. That could happen again if you start playing around with Jersey barriers. I know I woke up one morning, came back from work one day, and I couldn't get to my house without wandering all through South Out Hills to do it. And it pissed me off. I'm sure there's a lot of people down there that got a lot more money than I got that would get pissed off if you decide to put Jersey barriers up. As far as North Shore Estates Road is concerned, that's a private road. City of Ferrysburg shouldn't have anything to do with it unless you get to the intersection. That's in Ferrysburg. Also, those people, I believe, most of them lived in Spring Lake Township. If they want to pay for some Jersey barriers, speed calming events, hey, tell them to bring their checkbooks and come on down and do it. As far as I'm concerned, you guys are trying to jump into a car baby. You go ahead and do it. It doesn't most kind of mind those anymore. I don't live down there. That's my 2 cents, and you're welcome to it. Good evening.
Thanks a lot. Further public comments? Okay, moving on. 9.
Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, Tim. Come on up.
Thank you. Good evening. Tim Scarpino, 17761 Mayberry in Ferrysburg. First off, thank you for your vote to reappoint me to the Brownfield Redevelopment Authority. Appreciate that. Secondly, just real quick comment on the North Shore and the speed situation. I think first and foremost what I heard was, let's talk with our traffic engineers and get some recommendation from them. I think that that's the first appropriate step for the council to take. Have staff do that and work with them and find out what they come up with. The second thing I think is also going to be important is just to keep an open mind about what options they might bring to you and realize that you could pilot some of those options. I mean, putting some speed bumps out there certainly would help. Also, I think it would send a message to people using that street that, there's a speed bump or speed bumps out there, and now it's time to get a little bit serious about watching your speed. That said, that seems like the kind of road that isn't really meant for speed bumps. I think when you go into Grand Rapids where I work, a lot of the side streets will have speed bumps, but some of the major thoroughfares won't. So I don't envy your task in trying to solve that. The idea of a roundabout out there is kind of interesting, but there is quite a distance between the fire barn and where that roundabout would be, and that would be kind of difficult as well. I think, you know, as we see more public use of public properties out there, the parks, and people crossing the street to get from one side to the other, you know, it is a dangerous situation, and I respect the comment made about the people who are on their boats all day on a Saturday and come back, and who knows what state of sobriety they're in as they travel down that road. So I don't envy your task. Having been on city council, when we voted for some of the restrictive measures in South Holiday Hills, you know, we did end up removing one of the barriers when we felt it didn't make sense. But the other one that's been there for more than 20 years now has kept that neighborhood what it was meant to be, a neighborhood and not a thoroughfare for a bunch of people from Spring Lake Township to travel in and out of the city. So good luck to you as you take a look at it, and just thanks for everything you do on city council. I've been in your place and I know how fun it can be at times. So thank you.
Thanks, Tim. Further public comments? Hearing none, moving on. Reports, city manager?
No report.
City council members? Debbie?
At our carol sing, and I think it was a success. It was great to have, it was very cold. It was like spitting rain, and, but it was fun, and we had Santa, and the kids had a good time. And so I think we can call it a success. And our meeting was canceled for December, so I will see everybody in January.
Okay. Jerry?
Yeah, I'd just like to thank the beautification committee for the great job on the carol sing, and wish everybody happy holidays. That's all.
Okay. Bill?
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Will?
Yeah, first I'll thank Deb and the beautification committee and the fire department for, and Craig, I saw him out there freezing too, putting on a great holiday party at the Carol Sing. It seemed like everybody a good time. It was a great opportunity for us to partner with a local church in Ferrysburg and get them out there and involved. We did get our preliminary recommendation for our grant back from the DNR, correct, Craig? And we were not successful on that.
Yeah, it's a final, it's not preliminary anymore.
Okay, but we were not successful on that. They did not have as much money as they had in the past, so that was unfortunate, but we do have the 3 Spark grants that are still out there, and the Rec Commission is still fundraising and continue to raise money, so they're doing a great job. End of report.
Okay. Rich?
No report.
Tim?
The Board of Review met last week and just tied up some loose ends on the city taxes. Great time at the Carol Sing. The only complaint is we didn't get the fire going big enough. They wanted a bigger fire, so it's a one time where us firefighters get to play with fire and build it instead of putting it out. So that was fun. Will, you once asked me when we were talking about ethics, about how the ethics ordinance can be weaponized. I was approached by a council member and threatened that he would ruin me and make a fool out of me and Joe Lyons if I pursued the complaints against the city council. I do not intimidate. Can't intimidate me. We did pursue it. It went through the process, and it was found that there was no actionable item by the city council. However, there's maybe some litigation that might be still available. I'd like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and a report.
Okay. I'd like to thank everybody who came out for the holiday dinner. The MPO Policy Committee is going to meet this Wednesday, December 21st. And happy holidays. Have a safe and healthy holiday season. Meeting adjourned.
And do your best to stay warm this week.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Flat freezing on Friday.
I was gonna shut that screen off.
Okay, just making sure I didn't miss something.